Most sellers think the hardest part is getting the offer, but what actually determines how much you walk away with what happens after that during negotiation. And this is where most sellers lose money without realizing it. By the time an offer comes in, there's a sense of relief. It feels like the goal has been reached. But in reality, the offer is just the starting point. What matters next is how that offer is handled, adjusted, and negotiated through each step. In this video, I break down what sellers in East Brunswick, North Brunswick, South Brunswick, and Monroe should understand about pricing, positioning, and timing in today's market. One of the first places this shows up is during inspection. A buyer comes back asking for credit, and the instinct is to keep the deal together. But not every request is based on real risk. Sometimes it's inflated, sometimes it's leverage, and even if you don't evaluate that correctly, you end up conceding more than necessary. The same pattern shows up with appraisals. If the number comes in low, most sellers assume the deal has to be adjusted immediately. But that's not always the case. There are ways to structure the response depending on how strong the buyer is and how committed they are. Then there are terms that don't get enough attention. Price gets all the focus, but things like timelines, contingencies, and how credits are structured can shift your net outcome just as much. Two offers can look identical on paper and still produce very different results once those details are negotiated. What I am seeing across the market right now is that buyers are still active, but they are pushing back on price and terms more than before. They are willing to move forward, but they negotiate more carefully after the offer is accepted. Sellers, on the other hand, are still expecting cleaner deals. That mismatch is where money quietly slips away, not because demand isn't there, but because leverage is misread at every stage. And the risk here isn't just losing money, it's losing it without seller realizing it. Strong negotiation isn't about being aggressive. It's about knowing when to push, when to hold, and how to structure responses instead of reacting in the moment. That's what protects your position all the way through the closing. Clarity at the right stage is what protects the outcome. I am Rupa Nampally, also known as Rupa Realtor, broker associate with Remax Select.